I've been waiting for this guy to make his SportsCenter with Jay Onrait debut for a long time, and here he is in his special new Game 5 suit. Bryan Hayes from TSN Radio in Toronto. This guy spends all day long talking about the Maple Leafs, and I imagine, Bryan, that for the next 48 hours you're going to have to be consoling Leaf Nation. How much strife, how much angst, and how much doubt is going to creep into this Leaf Nation over the next 48 hours?
Oh, I don't think you got to wait 48 hours, Jay. I think it's basically here already. Walking out of this building, it was depressing, it was dejecting, but it was also familiar. And in a way, I think fans were like, okay, here we go again. The Matthews and Marner era, they're 0-10 in opportunities to close out a series. They've seen this before, Leaf fans. They've been down this road before. They need to be reminded, and I guess I'll do that over the next 48 hours, that they're still up 3-2. The Leafs are still up 3-2. Now, it's a big task to go down to Tampa and try to win your third straight in Tampa. But you've got two more cracks at it, and the Leafs are still in the driver's seat. So it's on them to show up on Saturday night. I didn't think they played poorly tonight, but I didn't think they had their best stuff either. And it's tough to knock out a champion. And Tampa's a proud team. They played like a proud team tonight. So Leaf fans are familiar with this. It's on the Leafs to change their history and their reputation.
You mentioned it, Bryan. The team 0-10 when they've got a chance to close out a series in the Matthews-Marner era. We'll add Nylander, we'll add Tavares to it. That's your core four. How much pressure will those four players specifically be under as we head into Game 6?
Well, I think there's as much pressure as any stars in Maple Leaf history to finally get this done. It's not their fault. It's been 19 years since this team won a round, but they've been here for a long time. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, they've been here 7 years. John Tavares has been here for 5, and they have the help with O'Reilly here, with Achari here, with McCabe here, with Schenn. They've got Ilya Samsonov in net, who has been relatively composed. So they are in the driver's seat to, again, change their reputation and change their history. But they had opportunities to do that tonight. Mitch Marner had a breakaway 5 minutes into the third period, chance to tie the game and absolutely blow the roof off this place. He could not get it done. Matthews scored late in the game to make it a one-goal game, but I thought he was pretty quiet tonight. There was a lot more for them to give. And sure, it may get down to a point where Ilya Samsonov needs to stand on his head. That might have to happen, right? The Leafs have been in this position before, and they didn't get those types of miraculous games out of a Jack Campbell, out of a Freddie Anderson. It may come down to Ilya Samsonov, but I would suggest it's on the core four, and specifically Matthews and Marner, the two superstars of this team, to make sure it doesn't get to that point. They have to be rock stars on Saturday night, and the pressure is absolutely on.
Bryan, are you expecting any lineup changes for Game 6 in Tampa?
I would expect Michael Bunting goes in. I think Sheldon Keefe basically showed his hand leading up to Game 5 that he was contemplating putting him in. He stuck with the good mojo. They had won 3 in a row. They lose tonight. It opens the door for Bunting to go in. I would guess Zach Aston Reese or Sam Lafferty come out. I don't think Matthew Knies is coming out. I thought he looked very good again tonight. I think he's composed. I think he stays in the lineup. But I would expect Bunting to go in, and he should be very inspired. As a local guy, suspended 3 games. Now he's got to watch tonight in a suit. If he goes in, I would expect to see an inspired player and a guy that could have an impact on Game 6. I don't think they'll make changes to the back end unless there's injuries. Mark Giordano got hit pretty hard tonight, but he remained in the game, so I would assume he sticks in. But for me, I would look to put in Timothy Liljegren for Justin Holl. Holl has been kind of skating here in terms of people putting a spotlight on him because the Leafs have been winning. When the Leafs were up 3-1, people weren't focused on how many goals Justin Holl has been on the ice for. It happened again tonight. He was on for the first 2 goals, directly involved in a negative way for the first 2 goals. He kills a ton of penalties. He's a big body, block shots, but I don't think he's looked good at any point throughout this series. I would put Liljegren in, but I don't think that Sheldon Keefe will go down that road.
Game 6, back in Tampa on Saturday. Bryan Hayes, it's official. You're a television star now. Thanks, buddy. You're the best.
Thank you, Jay. Good seeing you, buddy.